Good evening and welcome to our Committee of Adjustment meeting this Monday, January 12th, 2026. There may be people coming in throughout this meeting, likely for our open public meeting during our regular council meeting. So we'll just start right now. Can I get a mover and seconder to open the meeting? Moved by Councillor Bougie, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lang, that we open the meeting at the call of the chair at 6:02 p.m. All those in favor? Carried. Confirmation of agenda. Are there any changes or amendments? Okay. Can I get a mover and seconder to accept the agenda? Moved by Councillor McDonnell, seconded by Councillor Jaworski, that we accept the agenda as presented. All those in favor? Carried. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we'll move to approval of the previous minutes, that we accept the previous meeting minutes, November 24th, 2025. Can I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Bougie, seconded by Councillor McDonnell. As I read, all those in favor? Carried. Before we get into new business and reports, which will be A14 2025 Brunet, I'll throw it to Mrs. Haley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, everyone. For members of the committee, you might notice that we're doing things a little differently this evening. So Joshua Hutton, as of January, is now going to be the Secretary Treasurer of the Committee of Adjustment, and I will act as the planning role with recommendations. I don't think you're going to see many changes around the table, but you'll also see in your agenda package that I did prepare a planning report. I'm going to be doing that from now on for each application. And there's another item later on in the agenda that talks about future training, and we'll explain that why later. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hutton, you may proceed.
Okay, so starting off with Ray Brunet, A14. So first we're going to start off with some language from the Planning Act. This is a hearing under Section 45 of the Ontario Planning Act. Any person may attend this hearing and/or make written or verbal representation either in support of or in opposition to the proposed minor variance. If a person, the applicant, or public body does not make written or oral submissions at this hearing or before the minor variance is decided upon, their comments will not be considered by the Committee of Adjustment. Only the applicant, the minister, or specified persons or public bodies with an interest in the matter may appeal the decision of the minor variance of the Committee of Adjustment to the Ontario Land Tribunal within 20 days of the decision. Note that the committee members have received the application along with any written submissions received in support of or in opposition prior to this hearing, and in addition, we'll hear today oral submissions from any interested parties. So the subject property is part of Lot 23, Concession 1, front being parts 2 through 4 on Registered Plan 14R6150 in the geographic township of Charlottenburg, now in the township of South Glengarry, County of Glengarry, located at 6857 Silmser Road. The subject property is approximately 0.6 acres in area and is legally non-conforming as it is an undersized lot and does not have road frontage. So this is a image of where the subject property is. We have County Road 2 to the north and the St. Lawrence to the south, just east of Prevost Point. So some background, a provisional consent severance was granted to add additional land to the subject property. The provisional consent is subject to conditions, one condition being a requirement to apply for and receive approval for a minor variance to reduce the minimum lot frontage, as it does not conform to zoning bylaw 3809. The following relief from the zoning bylaw 3809 is requested. From Part 6.2 to reduce the minimum lot frontage from 40 meters to 7.86. So this is a map that was part of the provisional consent. The pink area that you see was added to the subject land from the applicant's lands, which are in blue. And you can see at the east point of the pink area, that's the legal, or the frontage, 7.86 meters. A survey was also submitted by the applicant. The red circle shows the frontage added through the consent process. So this photo shows the subject lands facing southwest. The driveway that you'll see to the right of the photo is to be transferred, offering the lot frontage. And this is another image where you can see the dwelling as well. The property is a designated rural district in the county official plan and is zoned limited service residential, or LSR, and floodplain holding, FPH, in the township zoning bylaw. So that's an image of the zoning map. The application was circulated to all abutting property owners within 60 meters and applicable municipal staff. Staff have received no written or verbal comments to date. The application was also circulated to the Raisin Region Conservation Authority, the RRCA, for comments. The RRCA have no concerns with the proposed minor variance. The building staff have reviewed this application and have no concerns with the requested variances. Planning staff have provided comments and a recommendation to approve the minor variance as requested. To you, Ms. Haley.
Thank you. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have a report now in your agenda, and the purpose of the report is to give additional information to the committee members that reviews more wholesomely the policies of the provincial planning statement as well as the official plan. And we also review the 4 tests. And so in the past, all of our information was always included in this slide. The background information was available in the file, but now moving forward, the goal is to have a report sent to the committee at the time your packages are released that would include it. So for this particular application for Mr. Brunet, you will see that the lot addition is really improving the situation of the existing property. Now adding additional land and bringing the frontage to the private road allows the individual buying the property to own basically the dwelling, the land around the dwelling, but also the driveway, which is part of the infrastructure. I am recommending that it be approved because it does meet the intent of the provincial planning statement, the official plan, and also the 4 minor variance tests that the Committee of Adjustment is obligated to review and consider. And I did provide explanations as well as to why we believe it meets the test. You don't have to agree with my recommendations in terms of why it meets the test. I mean, that's something that you as committee members can determine yourself. But hopefully this is helpful for you and will be helpful moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to add anything, Mr. Brunet?
No, not really.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from members of Councillor Jaworski?
Thank you. Through you, Mayor McDonald. Question for Ms. Haley. Are there any additional considerations or different view because if I understand correctly, it's a private road? Does that impact at all, the context when it comes to minimum road frontage?
So that's an excellent question. And in our official plan, we have policies that recognize private roads, which is a good thing because we have a lot of private roads in South Glengarry, specifically along our waterfront. Also, in our zoning bylaw, we also have language that reflects the existence of the private roads, and we treat private roads the same as a public road when it comes to land development and planning. So we recognize that they are required to have public road frontage, setbacks, etc., because you want to make sure that there's adequate space for development to occur on existing lots of records, even if they front on a road that we are not responsible for. So this conforms well, and we're improving the situation. Even though it has reduced frontage, it'll definitely give the access and clear title to the buyer.
Are there any questions on this property of members of the public? Nope. All right. Councillor McDonnell?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'll move to approve as presented.
Okay. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Lang. All those in favor? Carried. We will, there will be one caveat, I think, in this, or sometimes. Yeah, if you don't mind, Mrs. Haley.
Sure. And Mr. Brunet, so we will be giving you a notice of decision in the mail, and it is subject to a 20-day appeal period. All the items that we would have discussed with you at the time of Mr. Hutton helping you with your application. And at that time, then you can proceed with finalizing your year's closing. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, our second item on the agenda is A15, 2024, La Rochelle. Mr. Hutton, go ahead.
Okay, so our second application is A15, La Rochelle. The subject property is part of Lot 8, Concession 1 Front, being parts 1 and 3 on Registered Plan 14R1964 in the geographic township of Charlottenburg, now in the township of South Glengarry, County of Glengarry, located at 19404 Malibu Lane. The subject property is approximately 0.2 acres in area. This is an image of the property location. So again, we have County Road 2 running northeast and St. Lawrence and Hamilton Island to the southeast. The subject property was previously developed with a dwelling that was destroyed by fire. The applicant is currently reconstructing a new dwelling on the same footprint and proposing to construct a new front porch within the required front yard setback of the rebuilt dwelling. In addition, the applicant is seeking to recognize the location of an existing shed within both the required front yard setback and the west interior side yard setback. The following relief from zoning bylaw 3809 is being requested. Under part 6.2, to reduce the required front yard setback from 6 meters to 2.5 to the proposed porch, the required front yard setback from 6 meters to 3 meters to the existing shed, and the required interior side yard setback on the west side from 1.2 meters to 0.2 meters to the existing shed. So as part of the application, the applicant submitted a building location survey. The areas highlighted in red demonstrate the requested relief from the zoning bylaw for the shed. So we've got 3 meters to the front yard lot line and 0.23 to the west line, sorry. This site plan demonstrates the requested relief from the proposed front porch. The dwelling is 4.1 meters from the front lot line, and the applicants are requesting the porch to be permitted at 2.5 meters from the lot line. The measurements on the site plan, you'll see 2.78. This image is a rendering of the proposed porch. And this is the under construction dwelling as of mid-December. So the brown paneled area is the front of the home where the porch is being proposed. So we're looking from Malibu Lane southeast, or southwest, sorry. Just a few more pictures of the site in general, so you can see where the road is, where the trailer is currently sitting. And then this would be the shed from the road. Shed again. And then this would be the shed from the rear yard. So you can see there the fence to the left of the image and the shed quite near to that property line. And then just a sign of our photo of our sign. The subject property is designated rural district in the county official plan and is zoned limited service residential, or LSR, in floodplain holding, FPH, in the township's zoning bylaw. That's an image of our zoning. The application was circulated to all abutting property owners within 60 meters and applicable municipal staff. We have received no written or verbal comments to date. This application was circulated to the Raisin Region Conservation Authority for comments. The RRCA have no concerns with the proposed minor variance. Building staff have reviewed this application and have no concerns with the requested variance. Planning staff have provided comments and a recommendation to approve the minor variance as requested. And to Ms. Haley.
Thank you. So there's a couple things that I would like to point out to the committee members. So in completing this review, it's clear that the rebuilding of the dwelling meets the intent of the provincial planning statement and the official plan policies because residential dwelling is permitted in this area. It's not uncommon to ask for reductions in front yard setbacks, especially to a 2.5 meter setback on a private road where the road allowances aren't really wide, minimum maintenance is done, no ditching in the front, et cetera. The one thing I do want to point out, though, that something that we typically would not recommend is the 0.23 meter setback. That's 9.06 inches. And we wouldn't recommend that for obvious reasons because being 9 inches from a property line really makes it difficult for property owners to be able to maintain that structure, not trespass on the abutting property. You'll see that it's up against a fence, which may assist in this case. It is my understanding in working with our building staff on this file that the property owners erected the shed on site, I believe in 2022. Maybe not realizing that you were not meeting the setbacks or not meeting the requirements and not realizing that a shed of that size would need a building permit. Knowing that the shed's been there since 2022 and that we haven't received a complaint from the abutting property owner, and it's really only that owner to the west that would really be negatively impacted and would complain, and knowing that it's somewhat separated by that fence, I don't have an issue with recommending it to be approved. However, that's something for the committee to consider given how close it actually is. And I do believe that individuals don't do those things intentionally. You're trying to do something to make it work and fit on your property, make it look nice. We all have belongings that we need to put away, so we understand the need for the sheds. But just it's something that we typically don't recommend because having a 1.2 meter setback really does provide the minimum separation you would need to maintain it. So I just wanted to provide that clarification to the committee if you were wondering why this is something that I would recommend. So thank you, Mr. Chair. I have no further comments to bring forward from my report.
Mr. or Mrs. LaRochelle, do you have anything you'd like to add?
The existing fence was a schoolyard fence, chain link style, and the pre-existing shed was an old aluminum shed. So when my neighbor changed the fence with permission, he used the same replaced exactly where the old one was. And I did the same with this shed. I replaced exactly where the old one was. So we worked together. There was he kind of likes it because it extends the fence that much further back, so it gives him more property. So it was a joint venture, so there's no complaining on either side.
And the fence actually doesn't go behind the shed, it's literally almost to the corner.
Yeah,
And
the shed extends the fence, which was part of the plan for both of us, so.
on the drawing, on the picture, you also saw that there were 2 propane tanks there. Those propane tanks are actually being moved over closer to the house on the,
For safety,
on the,
yeah.
on the east side.
Yep, right there.
So that whole frontage area, there's just a small little area that we have for garbage and that's it. Just a box for wood.
Right, thank you for that perspective. Are there any comments from around the committee table? Councillor Jaworski?
Thank you. Through you, Mayor McDonald. I'm not sure this is a question for the applicants or for staff, but with respect to the porch and the front yard setback, is that generally in keeping with the other properties in that area, or is it a material difference from them?
There's a few properties that do have porches but they're well set back. The whole property, I'm thinking of Mr. Cleary. His property is his front yard by the road is very well set back. And there are a couple of others that have porches, but this is the first one that we're looking at in the front.
Maybe to answer that question from more of a policy or technical perspective, it wouldn't be uncommon to have a 2.5 meter setback on the private road. I know that area is very tight, the development is, structures are closer to the road, so I really don't feel what you're requesting is unreasonable or uncommon in that private road area. I do feel that it would be a nice fit, and really the proposed porch is an open concept. What's protruding into the setback beyond the original footprint is really the roof as well as the post to support that roof. So I don't see it as a big negative impact at all.
Thank you very much. That was my question.
On this particular application, is there any questions from members of the audience or public? Okay. I'll go to Deputy Mayor Lang this time. Deputy Mayor Lang will move to accept it as presented, and Councillor McDonnell is going to second that. All those in favor? Carried. All right, so that's approved by council, and if you don't mind the 20-day notice, if you don't mind sharing that. You've heard it before, but just
So thank you for your comments. As you heard, the committee has approved your application. We will send out a notice of decision, and it will be subject to a 20-day appeal period. I believe it's not going to impact your continuation of your construction, but it now will give you an opportunity to work with your contractor to let them know that they will be able to move forward once the appeal period is completed to add that front portion to your new dwelling. So I wish you well in your construction.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
thank you very much. All right, so the next meeting will be determined on an as-need basis, or do we know? Nope, sorry. Okay, so, oh yes, and future training before I get to, I skipped one there, 5A, future training to inform the Committee of Adjustment of the new requirements to consider when making decisions. Mrs. Haley?
So thank you, Mr. Chair. So we added that item to the agenda because there's been some recent legislative changes that I feel requires us to be conducting our meetings a little differently. And Mr. Hutton and I had an opportunity to sit in a couple of lunch and learns from the Ontario Association of Committees of Adjustment before Christmas with some recommendations that I would like to introduce to the committee and have you consider on how we could do things more in a new and improved way moving forward. Once we have that meeting, we'll be able to explain in detail what the purpose of the new training would be and what has changed legislatively. And part of me doing the staff report, I think, is helping us making sure we're processing the files well. I would like to schedule that meeting if you don't mind. So it's something that, with permission, perhaps we could schedule with Joshua and I reaching out to the committee members to come up with a date. This is going to be a public meeting when we do the training. It doesn't necessarily have to be scheduled in this room, though. Because of how busy this facility is, we can look at holding the meeting in other locations if the committee is willing to do so. And for that reason, we can also do it at a time that works well for you as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be at a Monday at 6 p.m. So with your permission, Mr. Chair, we'll work with the committee and schedule that in the near future if you don't mind. And if you have any suggestions, please let us know and we'll follow through with scheduling it.
Okay, is that okay with the committee? Yep, so we will proceed with that and
Good.
look forward to setting it up.
Good, thank you for that.
And then next meeting was to be determined. It will be at the next as need and adjournment. Making a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor McDonnell, second by Councillor Jaworski, that we adjourn to the call of the chair at 6:52 p.m. All those in favor?
Excellent.
Carried.
Thanks.